Very drunk.
Welcome to the lineup, live on Rumble, 9 a.m. Eastern to 7 p.m. Eastern. You don't need to change that channel. You just keep watching for free all day, and each show rolls into the next. Welcome, Bongino Army, now coming in from Vince. Hope you enjoyed that show. Vince, of course, comes from the name Vincente in Latin, which translates to all the Romance languages are based in Latin. Roughly, sherbet or sherbet? And how is it different from sorbet? I guess it's a common question in all languages, even back with the Latins. So we have a lot to get to. Elon Musk and Donald Trump are at it again. Oh, Mom, you got to take care of your boys. Comes down to this. Would primarying every Republican right now be a good thing? Would it be good for America? And a third party, would that be good for the United States of America? And who do you think would hemorrhage more votes, Republicans or Democrats? It's a new poll on American Pride that is very revealing as to who actually loves this country as it relates to political parties. And this is something I've wanted to talk about for a while. And since we have a Talking with People coming up, you'll see a teaser here in a second during the 4th of July break. Why are Cuban American immigrants so different? Not just from other Hispanic immigrants, but any immigrants. Why are they the single most reliable Republican, conservative, pro-America voting bloc in this country? Something kind of near and dear to my heart. I like a good sandwich. On with the show. And now for a message from Paco, the friendly homophobe.
That's me.
Mr. Jimenez, Paco! Hi, yeah, can you make sure that you and your guys get the bushes this time? Because last time, you missed them, and I really need to trim the hedges.
See, I trimmed the bushes. I'm sorry for the mistake last time.
That's fine. Would you or your crew like some Long Island iced teas or Pepperidge Farm cookies?
No, it's okay.
Nothing I can get you.
No, not for me. And even though it's because you're a very nice man. And when I say this, I mean no offense. Because you pay me very well and treat me very much like a professional. But I am not comfortable drinking from your glass or eating from your cookie jar because you are not straight.
Click Rumble Premium and join now for $99 annually or $9.99 a month to get the entirely ad-free experience and an ever-expanding roster of content, creators, and free speech. Hey, I'm here in Dallas, Texas for the latest installment of Talking with People. Just sort of gauging the temperature and seeing what people think about immigration in general and the deportations, ICE. You know, I'm a fan. I'm thinking some are. Right now, immigration is a hot topic. Is America a better country than China?
I think it is better. I think it is definitely a better place to, have a better work-life balance.
Well, what do you mean your people?
My people is like Mexican. I'm Mexican. At 1963, my dad came here on a banana boat.
They come here and they go, you guys don't know how good you have it.
Yes.
Is America the greatest country in the world?
Yes and no.
This is the first generation of people who come here and say, yeah, but it's not that great. Thank you. I hope you and your husband do well, and I hope that you get that citizenship. You guys can stay here. Thank you, man. I think you're a working man with a family. Thank you, Chico. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you. Thank you for the opinion, brother. Be well. Glad to be with you. Yes, we will, after Wednesday, be on a little bit of a break here for 4th of July, doing some pre-production, and there'll be 2 installments of Talking with People. Captain Morgan made me self-conscious about my shirt right off the bat. Look, there's no good way to button this. Look, here's the thing.
Dude,
this is too much unbuttoned, and then if I go just one more button,
I complimented you.
Oh, stop it.
Don't let him do that to you. You got a nice tan.
Look at this.
No,
look at this. You can't wear that.
Oh, you look like a dork.
Yeah.
Come on, unbutton that thing.
I'll unbutton it.
You got a nice tan.
Tell
you
him
got
what
the
I told
taco
you.
meat hanging out. I like it.
I don't even know what that means, but I appreciate it.
Tell them
Chest
what I told
moss.
you. I complimented you on you. I said, I like your shirt. I mean, they make you look
Well,
good.
I
your
don't
shirt.
like you.
Wow.
I love you.
It's got personal.
I love you, but I don't like you. Hey, question of the day. Whose third party would you follow? Do you want a third party? We're going to get into that today. And if you're wondering the best way to stay in touch, hey, it's a live show, weekdays, 11 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
And you just tune in. It's like the old TV guide, only there's no family matters. Captain Morgan, how are you?
I'm doing well.
Good. And Tuesday, July 8th.
Shirt.
Funny Bone Comedy Club, way to step on his plug. Funny Bone Comedy Club, and it's not all about you.
Tuesday, July 8th.
Yeah, Tuesday, July 8th in Orlando, Florida. The Funny Bone Comedy Club, Mr. Josh Firestein.
Hey, what's up? Happy Canada Day.
Oh, come on.
Son of a gun.
I thought we were done with Gay Month.
No, we're going to shotgun some maple syrup later.
Yeah. It's one of the most expensive heists ever in history was maple syrup.
Really?
Yeah, on trucks. It was like $10 million.
Wow.
Yeah. It's labor intensive. Have the Mexicans do that. Now.
Too cold.
Oh, I thought we were too cold to go into that level of racism right off the bat.
No,
I mean, it's too cold for Mexicans to do the
Yes.
cap in the trees. Yeah. That makes sense. So
It's a great start.
let's. Hey, before I go to this next one, this endorsement deal at Disney World with land whales, do you remember last week when Jamal Bowman said that racism was the reason that the black community deals with obesity and diabetes? For those who you have to see this.
I'm a black man in America. The reason why heart disease.
I'm white, I can't comment on
Listen
that.
to what I'm saying.
Is that what
The
you're
reason
saying?
why heart disease and cancer
pretty
and
racist to
obesity
suggest I can't
and
comment on
diabetes are bigger in the black community is because of the stress we carry from having to deal with being called the N-word directly or indirectly
Stress weight.
every day.
The N-word.
Gerald's created a lot of fat black people.
I'm sorry.
Behind the scenes.
You have N-word
Can't
cancer?
stop saying it. So, and this leads into the next one you saw. We did a segment on that. Nothing is ever your responsibility. And in this case, I mean, this man who claims to speak for the black community. Same thing with feminists. Same thing with LGBT. Nothing is ever your fault. It's everyone else's fault. The rest of the world needs to change, but they need to fund your personal choices because it's not your fault. It's their fault. That's where we find ourselves. And I think that's what has people exhausted. When people refer to fatigue, whether it's black fatigue, whether it's LGBTQ, AIP fatigue, feminism fatigue, white broad fatigue. So now we go to these plus size, and let's just ditch the term plus. Plus size means you're like, an extra large. Like, for women,
that's right.
would that be
There's
like
large,
a size
and then
10?
there's extra. That's the plus.
Right. Maybe for like
You're plus.
Right. For a
Yeah.
woman, maybe that'd be like a size 8 or 10. I don't know what the
even
normal
know.
size
Yeah.
is, but we use the term plus size. We use curvy when these women cease to have curves. And it's not, hey, these people are fat. That's not what we're doing right now. It's these ladies are showing off their latest endorsement deal with Disney World, and we are enabling a culture that completely lacks accountability, and this may be the precise reason for the downfall of Western civilization.
Are you looking to rent a scooter for your upcoming trip to Disney World or Universal, but you weren't sure where to begin?
there's-
Yes.
everyone,
No.
we're
I'll be in
plus-size
Orlando
car
soon.
hoppers. We range in sizes from 2X to 5X. Make sure you like this video and follow us for more plus-size Disney tips and tricks. If you know us, you know by now that we always recommend Gold Mobility when it comes to theme park scooter rentals. They have scooters to fit all of your needs. Whether
weird,
you're
Gold's
looking
a soft
for a
metal.
portable
Yes.
scooter that can fit in your car or a
tries to
larger
eat it.
scooter with a higher weight capacity, Gold Mobility has what you're looking for. To make your experience even more comfortable, they've added some new premium accessories. We tried out the foldable canopy as demonstrated here by Ashley Vanna White.
Maybe
It's
try some
incredibly
sun.
easy to assemble and provides much needed shade and protection from the Florida sun. Another accessory that we tried out is the insulated basket cooler. This cooler fits perfectly
of course
with
you need a
and can
cooler.
be used to keep your drinks and snacks
Don't do
cold
that.
and protected from the heat. We
Here's a
always
thought.
order
No
cases
snacks,
of water
carry your
to our
water.
room, and being able to keep it in the basket cooler to
That's
keep
where
us
your
hydrated
medicine's
throughout the
supposed to go.
day is the best. It can also be removed
Ah,
from
the
basket
best
so
would
you
be
can
not
bring it
losing
to
a
your
foot.
table with you. As always, Gold Mobility scooters come included with a standard fan, cup holder, and phone holder. Also, Gold Mobility will deliver the scooter
Does
to
it come
your
with a
resort
crevice
or
fan?
vacation rental. Their scooters have an amazing battery life and can withstand even the most jam-packed park day. We have really put their scooters to the
Jam-packed.
test. The next
Yes,
time
you
you're
have.
looking to
I
rent a
agree on
scooter
that.
in the Orlando or
park that's
Anaheim area, look no further than Gold Mobility.
Yeah. Okay. So this is also the problem. Technology has enabled. It's enabled people to survive who shouldn't survive. Like, it's one thing to gain a little bit of weight, and I get it, a little bit of mommy weight, a little bit of dad bod weight. I understand that. In this case, can you imagine putting that bitch on a pack mule? Kill me! So we put them on a scooter, and we all have to. When you also understand that it's a huge scam with handicap parking. A lot of them are just obese people.
Yes.
And what do we end up with? This fake victim culture creates actual victims. The fake victim culture, and then you have someone who actually has a disability. Maybe a disabled veteran who had his who had his legs actually blown off. Maybe it's somebody who was born with a hereditary condition, and they actually could use that parking space. Also, when you fake victimhood, you know what else you end up with? You end up with ballooning health care costs for other people, and you end up victimizing American taxpayers. How about we just start with, okay, there are certain parameters of health, and you'll hear people say, like, well, what's healthy? Well, we know. You'll hear people say, what's normal? We have a general idea, but there's pretty wide parameters. We're not saying that you can't be a little bit skinnier, that you can't be a little bit bigger. We're not saying that you can't be eccentric. We're not saying that you can't be more reclusive, you can't be more outgoing, gregarious. What we're saying is, let's frame our society into normal in a way that benefits society,
Well,
where
luckily
we
those-
all honor our responsibilities and duties, and just exile them and let nature take its course. She said it protects you from this. Does it protect you from a natural predator, a gym teacher?
I don't. I don't think so. But listen, I feel
Hold on a
like
second, Josh. You guys are you're viewing this. Yes.
Well, I was just saying, you talk about the frame. I was like, well, luckily the gold scooter fits their frame.
Yes. Yes.
Kind of. They were spilling out.
they really
Yeah.
were.
It's so annoying. You're right. They take up the handicap parking spaces. It could be for an actually handicapped person.
Yeah.
Every time I hear a beep beep behind me and I look and they don't have cerebral palsy, I'm pissed.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm like, you better be
Yeah.
messed up, dude.
I better see a hook hand, or
Yeah.
we're gonna have some choice words for you.
Yeah.
100%. Look, I feel like we're doing these people a disservice. We are robbing them of a natural opportunity to get some steps and lose some weight.
Yes.
No scooters at the park unless you have like a missing limb or something.
Yeah, unless you have an actual disability.
Yeah.
Fat doesn't count as disability.
No.
I'm sorry, it doesn't. Since when did we have to make non-contributing zeros comfortable? You're supposed to contribute to us. We have to start thinking, how do we build a country, a society off of insert group here that is in this country? And if we cannot build a country off of then they shouldn't be accommodated. That's how it's worked since the beginning of time. We are now accommodating people who contribute nothing and take in order to purchase votes. Again, we're not just talking about people who might be a little bit overweight. I get it. There's also a huge difference between someone who's a lot overweight and is not expecting other people to accommodate and subsidize them.
And we're not sitting here going like, oh, look at these fat ladies. Oh, gross. We're going, hey, you can walk.
Yes.
And you need to.
You have the ability to walk.
Yes. Jesus Christ himself, like, get up and walk. A miracle? No, just use your legs. Just get off the scooter.
I'm not asking you to walk on water. I'm asking you to walk on concrete.
I'm asking you to use your perfectly functioning legs.
But it has a basket for my ice cream.
Why would they do that?
You imagine if they were in the crowd like, Jesus, we need more. I thought I fed the 5,000. What? It's all gone already?
Where'd it
All
go?
right, screw your sins. I'm going home. It's not compassionate. All right. Let's move on here to Elon Musk. The boys are at it again, guys. First question. Would you support a third party? Okay. And do you want Elon Musk to primary Republicans? Where do you line up on this right now? I think it's important to remember that Elon Musk implied that President Trump was potentially a pedophile, a sex offender, and then apologized. But we're back here now. So how far does your forgiveness extend? Or do you just think that Donald Trump is awful and he's accomplished nothing and this administration should be ousted? Let me know. I want to be clear about this. I was on Viva Fry and I think a couple of other shows. MAGA to me is just an extension of conservatism. Making America great again means returning us to the values that we seek to conserve. Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. Okay? So MAGA, to me, when people say, you're not MAGA, you're MAGA, means what is the best thing to do for the United States of America right now in 2025? That's what we should be doing.
Yeah.
What is the best thing to do for this country right now? And of course, sets us up for a better future. I don't think that creating a third party in a tantrum to pull away Republican votes qualifies. There's a lot of momentum right now, and I think losing it would be imprudent. So there's going to be, and I think CNN has been covering this live, there's going to be a vote-a-rama again on the big, beautiful bill, which is less beautiful right now because for some reason some Republicans don't want to boot illegal aliens off of Medicaid and off of social. Yeah, it's weird. By the way, I don't know why Democrats are so mad about that. I thought they couldn't get it. Yeah. So final vote from the Senate expected today. Bill is likely to pass. Of course, as any other bill, it ends up getting chopped up and it ends up getting warped. But Elon Musk didn't just discuss that. He vowed to primary any, and before we run this clip, any Republican who votes for the bill. Okay, that's a problem because you'd have to believe that Elon Musk is inherently more virtuous than all of these Republicans, to be clear. And here's the other problem. Just watch the glee with which CNN covers this kind of infighting.
We begin tonight with what President Trump calls his big, beautiful bill, which could be headed for a final vote in the Senate after a long day of debating amendments to it and perhaps for some Republican members staring into the abyss. On the one hand, the president over the weekend managed to drive one opponent of the bill out of seeking another term. On the other, Elon Musk has just weighed in on anyone voting yes, quoting him now. Every member of Congress who campaigned on reducing government spending and then immediately voted for the biggest debt increase in history should hang their head in shame. And if that weren't enough, he adds, and they will lose their primary next year if it is the last thing I do on this earth. He also reiterated his call from 3 weeks ago for a new political party and says he would start one a day after the bill passes. Rock, meet, hard place.
Someone wrote that.
Yeah, they did.
Rock, meet, hard place. Got all of that one.
Yeah,
they told him not to say that before the show.
Yeah, like, don't say it. I'm going to say it. It's going to be good for us. It's going to work. So, again, remember, Elon Musk apologized 3 weeks ago for saying that Donald Trump was a pedophile and posting it for the world to see.
Can't just apologize for that. I'm sorry.
Now he's vowing to, and now to be clear, he's vowing to completely destroy President Trump's mandate. To be clear. Now, I am not asking you, is this bill perfect? I'm not even asking you, is this bill great? The question right now, if you are conservative or if you are MAGA, because people are using that as a litmus test now, is this good for America? Let's put the perfection of the bill on the shelf here for a second. Is it good for America for Elon Musk to primary people like Josh Hawley, Mark Wayne Mullen, Ted Cruz, Tim Scott, Marsha Blackburn? Think about that. Is it? And he also made this other promise that didn't cover on CNN. He said, if this insane spending bill passes, the America Party will be formed the next day. Our country needs an alternative to the Democrat-Republican Uniparty so that the people actually have a voice. And what better voice for the people than a billionaire from Blood Mines? That's exaggerating. But then he used the poll on X to justify it, saying, is it time to create a new political party? And 81% said yes, and 19% no. Let me be clear about this. Do I think this is good for the United States of America? No, because in the absence of data, we'd be speculating. We're not. We're not. Third parties, they've been spoilers, okay? And they don't push this country forward. They just act as brakes. So in 2016, Trump versus Hillary, maybe Gary Johnson, Jill Stein, they took some votes away from Hillary in swing states. Yeah. Okay, that one's kind of fun. And who can forget the Pepsi versus Coke rivalry in 1999 where RC Cola took 12% of the vote?
RC Cola is not a sponsor of Louder with Crowder. RC Cola, we're still here.
Yeah, I guess so.
I didn't know about it.
Sort of.
Then 2000, you had Bush versus Gore. Ralph Nader got 1.6% of the Florida vote. Right? George W. Bush won Florida by 0.05%. Now, obviously, I would rather George W. Bush win than Al Gore, but that was a little bit of a mess. Then you look at 92. This is a big one. This is the most comparable to Elon Musk because you're talking about Ross Perot, who was a very, very wealthy man who believed he had the platform and could make it work. This was Bush versus Clinton. Ross Perot obviously helped Bill Clinton get elected. He pulled significant. Well, how much of the vote did Ross Perot pull?
It was a lot. It was like
18.9%.
That was 18.9%.
At least down here.
So nowhere near enough to be elected, but absolutely enough to guarantee that Bill Clinton would get elected. Let me ask you this. Do you think that Elon Musk's third party, do you honestly believe that it'll pull any votes at all away from the left? Because right now, the left can't stop stepping on rakes. The left can't get it right. The left is destroying itself. And really, this is your movement right now to lose. That doesn't mean that it's perfection. But you would be giving the left a gift if Elon Musk creates a party that pulls a comparable number, let's say, to Ralph Nader from the Republican Party. I get it. There are rhinos. There are people who should absolutely be voted out. People who've made my list, folks who don't want to take illegal aliens off of any type of social safety benefits. That, to me, is a national border. It's not a state border. You cease to be conservative. You cease to be MAGA. But to say that they are all the same, all right, and then we have a third party. You think that they're going to be beyond any type of corruption? It's just swapping out one problem, one disease for another.
All right, so the good news is we removed your cancer.
Okay.
And replaced it with Parkinson's.
Oh, that's not better.
I mean, a lot of people live with Parkinson's.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Michael J. Fox is killing it.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to take a soda from them.
No.
By the way, just let me touch on the poll really quickly. I like that he...
Mark it.
Let me rephrase.
Why don't you slide up and down it there, Gerald?
Really quickly. You must have confidence.
You wrap your leg around that thing and climb on up.
Yeah.
I work with children. And I know it. Listen,
I got some money here.
The poll that Elon Musk put out, I like that he gets
the one you want to touch.
Those, and there's a lot of thank you. I like that there are a lot of people that participate, but how many of those people are American?
Right.
The poll is not necessarily exclusive to Americans. I don't think it's very representative.
And we've been very clear, too, that these polls are informal in the past.
And somebody else said support for a third party today. This may have been Mark Mitchell, 20%. Support on Election Day, less than 1%.
Yeah.
I mean, in theory.
It always changes. I go, what about Abraham Lincoln and the Whigs? Shut up.
And you said how many people would have pulled from the left. I would think it would pull quite a bit if it wasn't Elon Musk doing it.
Maybe. Yeah.
Because they really grew to hate him in the last year.
Absolutely.
They really hate him now.
It will only pull from the right. So in pragmatic terms, it can only serve to lose Republicans' elections. Both the bad Republicans and the good Republicans. And I know what you're going to say. There are no good politicians. Also, let's also keep this dynamic in mind. People say, well, who are you going to trust? Someone who's not in D.C. or lifelong politicians? Yeah, but that doesn't apply to Donald Trump, though.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It really doesn't. He was, before Elon Musk, he was the guy who was not a politician, and that's why people wanted to give it a shot. Say, hey, let's give this businessman a try. And by the way, has built companies in a very different way from Elon Musk, but we'll get to that. So now Donald Trump has said that he's pretty much done with Elon Musk, writing, Elon may get more subsidy than any human being in history by far. Wait, is it may or by far?
Well, I think
he may get more than anyone. He may. By far, absolutely does. And without subsidies, Elon would probably have to close up shop and head back home to South Africa. No more rocket launches, satellites, or electric car production in our country would save a fortune. Perhaps we should have Doge take a good hard look at this. Big money to be saved.
Oh, gosh.
And then Elon Musk responded, and this is what he's saying now. He's saying, I'm literally saying, cut it all now. But here's the thing. He's saying cut it all now. Sure. Here's my problem with Elon Musk. He says it after he's gotten his bag. He says it after when people talk, when Bernie Sanders says tech oligarchs, or he's not all wrong. Now he ignores the Meta, Facebook, X before Elon Musk, Google, Alphabet, he ignores all Apple, Microsoft, Amazon. He ignores all of it and lasers in on one tech example. But I will say this, when I'm thinking of an oligarch, I'm thinking of someone who pretty much has to work hand in hand with government so their business receives favoritism, unlike the mom and pop shops. I can't think of anyone who qualifies more than Elon Musk. So, okay, this year Tesla spent a few $100,000, couple $100,000 lobbying for EV policies. But just last month, Tesla Energy posted on X, abruptly ending the energy tax credits would threaten America's energy independence and reliability of our grid. And then Elon Musk amplified a post calling the ending of solar subsidies to be unjust. So only a month ago, just to be clear, guys, you may, and no matter where you line up, truth does matter, check the references. Elon Musk a month ago wants your tax dollars to fund and subsidize a non-functional technology as far as what we would need solar to do. You want to put solar panels on your house? Absolutely, individually. To run a city? Can't be done right now. If you look at the businesses that Elon Musk has gone in, you look at electric cars, subsidies. You look at AI, you look at things like Neuralink, you look at what he's doing in exploring space, you look at solar energy. All of them require, if not subsidies, at least tax breaks and big government contracts. He hasn't started a restaurant franchise. He didn't start selling a toy. He's never really even ventured into, with any type of great commitment, a business venture that wouldn't require working hand in hand with government. My issue is that I just don't think it's honest. Because a month ago, he was telling you can't be mad about Solyndra and say, yeah, I want to follow Elon Musk's party because he's pro-liberty. Keep in mind, his companies have received $38 billion in subsidies and contracts over the last 2 decades. A third of Tesla's profits are basically from selling regulatory credits.
Jeez.
And here's the thing, too. What you have to understand is, hey, you know how you guys hate a lot of green require these sort of EPA regulations in your car, like that auto shut-off button that just bothers everybody.
Worst.
Yeah, it's terrible for your car. Or, big reason that the V8s went away and some of the new emission standards, right? You know that a big part of that is Elon Musk. A big part of that is people pushing for green electric cars, and so they were all too happy to try and drive gasoline cars and manufacturers out of business by making it so cost-intensive that everyone goes, all right, I guess we'll go to electric. I get that Elon Musk has said now, I've supported ending all EV credits because it would be advantageous for Tesla. Sure, but Tesla wouldn't have ever become Tesla if not for that. Like, let's be really clear about it. And if you want to look at his history of political support, okay, you want to join you're MAGA. I'm conservative. Let's say you're conservative or you're MAGA. You want to join the third party and support the man, Elon Musk, the party created by the man who supported in 2004, I believe that he pushed for John Kerry in 2007, supported the Republican Congressional Committee, but also Obama, Hillary in 2011, the DNC, Obama, 2015, Hillary. You look at 2020, Biden, 2022. You guys may have forgotten this, and I like DeSantis. He bought X, and the very first thing he did was try and push DeSantis. And it didn't, so when people say he's the one who made President Trump to be the president, like it was a coronation from Elon Musk, he tried it with DeSantis. It didn't work. Yeah. This is a guy who has a long-standing history of supporting Democrats, of supporting leftist policies, of supporting subsidies. And maybe now he's turned over a new leaf and he believes in free market enterprise, but he wasn't a month ago. You want to join that third party? Do you think that's what's best for America in 2020? I don't think that Elon Musk cares if it's best for America. I genuinely don't. I really don't think that he's looking at this saying this is what's best for America. Because even if you think this bill sucks, you still would be able to come to the conclusion it's not best for America to get rid of all Republicans, the only sort of stopgap that we have. And Josh, are you you okay? You okay over there, Josh?
Oh, yeah, sorry. You're really tired. I haven't been getting much sleep.
What's going on? You up all night playing at the Dungeons and Dragons or Snakes and Ladders?
No. I've been having nightmares recently and just flashes of the past. Like July 4th coming up and everything. It's
I thought it was like PTSD from. You mean like Afghanistan?
Oh no! I would just keep having nightmares about the July 4th party last year that Gerald had when he kept making everybody watch his football reels from Notre Dame.
What? Yes. Yeah, he did the same thing to me in 2020.
You said you wanted to see the tapes.
Yeah, sarcastically.
What?
Like, hey, yeah, we totally want to watch your football reels, and yeah, your wife's potato salad's amazing.
Yeah, no one wants to watch your tapes to see you and you go, ow, 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 ow. Here, Josh, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Try this. This is a CB Distillery. Hold on. Can you catch it?
Invited this year.
Yeah, I caught that.
Yeah, it'll help you relax.
See how I caught that?
Yeah.
It's unlike Gerald when he played Ohio.
I never
Help you get a
played
good
Ohio.
night's sleep and get through the July 4th weekend. It's made actually with, it's all lab tested, premium hemp grown right here in the United States, no fillers. It's not a novelty item like a lot of CBD out there. There's a 4th of July sale. You can get 50% off using the promo code RUMBLE at checkout. Go to cbdistillery.com and use the promo code RUMBLE.
So this will help me sleep?
Yeah.
So, I shouldn't take it now then.
No, you shouldn't take it.
No.
No.
Don't do that.
Put it in your eye?
Take
or
it,
what do you
take
do
it if
with
he tries to sit you down in front of the projector and make you watch his tapes again.
Oh, yeah, that'd be guys. Skip right through it.
Yeah, exactly.
And next time you're going to try to give me a zinger, make sure you realize that Ohio and Ohio State are two different schools, jerk.
He got all you. Look at that one. That must stink.
Sorry, I kind of having nightmares about it.
Yeah, exactly. He served his country.
What?
Yeah, he served his country, tough guy. What'd you ever do? You're chasing a pigskin over there on a field. He was being shot at by Hajis, huh? Okay, big chief.
I just kept looking at Gerald's tight end.
By the way, best way to follow us here is download the Rumble app. Download the Rumble app and follow me on there. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching these clips anywhere else, we're live weekdays 11 a.m. Eastern, but we also have some special clips or special live streams, and you don't get spammed. Do not be beholden to the algorithms of these other social media ghettos. Here's something that's very telling to me, another story. All references available, links in the description. New Gallup poll shows that American pride is at its lowest in years. Ugh. But there's more to it than that when you look at this, and it's very telling. So 58% of adults are extremely or very proud to be Americans. That's down 9 points from last year. But when you look at the party difference, okay, I'm going to do Republicans first. In 2001, I guess when we're comparing this here, 2001, are you proud of your country? Republicans, 90%. Today, Republicans, 92%.
Nice.
Democrats in 2001, 87%. Democrats today, 36%.
Wow. Holy cow.
So the entire change is Democrats, and the entire change is Democrats depending on who is in power. Even when you look at polls that were conducted during Barack Obama and even Joe Biden, you find a much higher rate of proud to be American amongst Republicans, which when people say, they're two-party system, man, party loyalists. No. You mean Democrats are party loyalists, because if their party is not in power, they don't care about this country. Republicans are still proud of this country. They're not proud of the direction of the country. One group of people, conservative, God-fearing, largely Republican Americans, love this country regardless of who's in power, and one does not. That is what's most telling about this poll. Americans are not less proud right now. Democrats are moping like whiny little bitches.
I couldn't have said it better.
By the way, on that chart, I don't know, bring that chart back up, the last one that you pulled up. Look where the most of the dip happens. Most of the dip happens around the time of Donald Trump. This is a Donald Trump thing. You hate Donald Trump so much that you will literally turn on your country essentially by saying, I'm not proud of it. That's not completely turning on your country, but might as well be. It's close enough for me.
Yeah.
Where you basically will just throw everything that is good about this country out. And by the way, look at the 16 through 19 years. They were very good years for us.
Right.
Other than the ginned up controversies, the things he didn't actually say, or the Russia straw man thing that you guys were throwing out there about Donald Trump being, I guess, a Manchurian candidate or something like that. None of that actually was true, and you guys bought all of it. Republicans didn't. And you know what you didn't see? A huge spike in Republicans when he came in office. Like, we're still proud of our country either way.
Speaking of hating their own country, right now on CNN, they're covering environmental groups sue to block controversial new migrant detention center in Florida Everglades. I hope that the environmentalists chain themselves to a tree in a swamp, and it's a self-solving problem.
It really is. Yeah.
They don't even want us to deport violent criminals. So in other words, maybe the Democrat pride in America would be higher if we kept more MS-13 members. Think about that.
I don't even see what's controversial about it, especially for an environmentalist.
Yeah.
Like they're creating a safe haven, an environment, a nature reserve, maybe.
They're feeding
for these alligators.
Yeah.
And what's so controversial about alligators surrounding a prison? Are you suggesting that they should be allowed to escape?
Right. I don't understand. That's a very good point.
Look, the alligators aren't dangerous to anybody except for the people who work there who go in and out every day.
Exactly. And they would have a vested interest in maintaining the health of the alligator population.
It'd be one thing if they were like, hey, alligator Alcatraz has alligators in the prison. That'd be one thing.
Wow.
Like, hey, there's a swimming pool. Swim at your own risk.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right. I don't think they're alligators. In the prison.
Well, we could think about it.
I also don't know if they were in the prison if they'd like have separate alligator and crocodile gangs, because we often lump them in, but they may see themselves as very different.
Hey, dog, I ain't no crocodile.
Yeah, come on, man.
I'm an American alligator.
Let me guess, we all look alike to you?
Even alligators are more proud to be American than Democrats.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
They eat American.
They do.
Sometimes they eat.
You think there's some alligators right there at Disney World seeing those two bitches on hover rounds? Like,
no, because they like the chase. That's too easy. That's
come on,
easy
Carl. It's not even sporting.
It's all fatty meat.
Ugh.
Remember how bad you felt after you ate that kid during the fireworks? You're not going to feel good about yourself.
Oh, no.
Be proud. You're an American alligator for crying out loud.
Come on.
What's your father think?
Speaking of people who are proud, I've been wanting to do this segment for a while, and there's a Talking with People coming up next week. We're doing 2 installments, where I noticed a very, very stark contrast between some immigrants, and I discussed the issue of deportation ICE with Chinese immigrants, Mexican immigrants, and there was a Cuban American who himself was an immigrant, but his parents were. And the contrast between him and Chico, who you'll see, who was Mexican, was night and day. And I want to be clear about something here. This is something I've wanted to study for a while. Cuban Americans are the most consistent conservative Republican voting bloc in the United States of America. And as far as consistency, it's not even close. Some of you say I'm biased because, the lady I love is part Cuban. Mm-hmm. And I've also learned quite a bit about their culture. But this is something I've discussed for a long time. You can go back to me in 2009 saying, okay, what is it that makes them so different? And I think I figured it out. But before I get into that, and I want to lay the case out for you, and maybe maybe your American pride will well up inside you when you see this and you see how proud a lot of these people are and how grateful they are for this country. First off, I love Cubans because I find them very funny. Their accent funny, their culture is funny, and I don't think anything crystallizes it better than this genetic freak show, Yoel Romero not giving a rat's ass in his victory speech, not for gay Jesus.
We watched that live at a Buffalo.
No for gay Jesus!
Did he say gay Jesus?
No, I say no for gay Jesus.
Wait, he's not for gay Jesus?
I know for gay Jesus. Are you for gay Jesus?
No, I don't think so.
I'm not for gay Jesus. No! Are you for gay Jesus? I said no.
Hello, who's gay Jesus?
Hey!
Yeah, William.
I had enough of you. We don't allow your peoples in my place. So, let me give you some numbers. All references available. You can check the link in the description. 70% of Cuban Americans voted for Donald Trump in 2024. 70%.
That's more than white, isn't it?
Yeah, non-Hispanic whites, 55%.
Whoa.
Oh, wow.
Another example, because some people got tricked by about all demographics shifted, but 88% of Cuban Americans voted for Ronald Reagan.
Dang.
Just to be clear. Again, a very, very stark contrast in handling Cuba. So 70% in 2024, 88%, 55% of non-Hispanic whites. Why are Cubans different from other Hispanics in this country? I know they're not Latin American, obviously, but we'll just use the term Hispanic here. I have a theory. And then the more research that I did and the more time I spent with some of these people, I said, oh, okay, that makes sense. So kind of 3 key points. Number 1, they have fled communism, meaning they're not coming here to make a little more money, like a lot of people from Mexico or some people in South America. They actively fled communism, a government that was persecuting them for their viewpoint, for their political views. And this, by the way, happened in recent memory, right? So you have people here who lived through communism and got away from it. Number 2, they have very strong, very patriotic family units and a work ethic in general. So that plays into it. And then point 3, and this is something that kind of dawned on me as we were researching this. If you are a Cuban American and you flee communism, and you flee the persecution and the executions, and you only see one party here in the United States supporting the root ideology, socialism and communism, of the horrors that you fled, you want nothing to do with them. A Cuban American who came here in the 1960s, who sees a Che Guevara shirt, how do you think a Jew fleeing Europe, if you were wearing a Hitler shirt, would feel? And then how do you think that Jew would think if he saw only Democrats wearing Hitler shirts and saying Hitler was a good guy?
Yeah.
That's what Cuban Americans experience when they come here. They do not view Che Guevara as a mascot for a shitty metal rap band. So let me go through these key facts point by point. And it also, I think, gives us a good idea as to when we're talking about which immigrants to accept. Of course, skill is important, but I think we should have a litmus test. I think we should have a litmus test as far as, do you love this country? Is it the greatest country in the world? How patriotic we think they'll be, how much we think they'll contribute. So key fact one, again, they've had direct contact with communism. For those of you who don't really know, the Cuban Revolution happened in 59, and between 59 and 80, about 375,000 fled to the United States, mostly in Florida. And that revolution, by the way, Che Guevara and then the Castros, and you put them on a crappy little T-shirt, these people are living with that memory right now. And Cuba is still a totalitarian dictatorship. So even people who flee other countries, for example, like Vietnam, that has changed where it's not nearly as bad. You have things being produced in Vietnam. No, that's not the same thing with Cuban Americans. And when we talk about the remittance tax, you don't need to worry about Cuban Americans. They don't want to send a dime back up. You know why? Because they know it goes straight to the government. Very, very different. They fled communism. They want nothing to do with it. And they're grateful for the place that provided them the opportunity. And let me explain to you, because I've heard so many wealthy, privileged white Americans blame the United States for the rest of the world. Cuba is it can grow anything. And by the way, they have two of the world's biggest trading partners in Soviet Russia and China. So they shouldn't need the United States for any. If communism worked, Cuba would be perfect, to be clear. But let me show you what Cuba actually looks like, despite what Michael Moore tried to sell you in Sicko, and we'll get to that in a second. 90% of Cubans in Cuba, they live in extreme poverty. But you may not understand what that means here in the United States. So imagine someone coming here where they hear people bitching about poverty, and you have people with cable television, cell phones, air conditioning, a 3-bedroom apartment. Basic toiletries like soap, toothbrush, they cost 150% of the average monthly income in Cuba.
Oh my gosh.
And I know I have these people, I've spent quite a bit of time with these people. One lady was a doctor in Cuba, and her family would have to trade the bar of soap day to day in each house so they could bathe themselves. Basic food is 325% of the average monthly income in Cuba.
So you have to make some choices.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to make some choices.
Some hard choices.
And we'll get to the strong family units. They communicate this to their children. Like, hey, you complain because you don't get, you have to drive Corolla? I have no soap.
Yeah, it's a pretty hard thing to argue.
You have toilet paper to wipe your ass? Huh? Don't complain. So what else do we see in Cuba? Well, you guys talk about persecution here. Let me tell you what that looks like in Cuba. Just in December, Cubans were jailed for protesting the awful living conditions by the government. That was added to Cuba's current thousands of political prisoners. Also, extrajudicial killings, torture, still really common in Cuba.
What?
Today. Yeah. From 59 to 2016, 11,000 Cubans were killed under Fidel Castro. And that doesn't include the up to 78,000 who may have died trying to simply flee the regime. And what's so funny here, too, is when you see socialists like Bernie Sanders or AOC or American socialists or communists, they're often pot-smoking hippies right in a drum circle or intelligentsia. The first thing that happens in communist regimes is they get rid of art, is they get rid of free expression. You think that in Stalin's Russia or in Cuba, they're going to keep, it's a labor-based ideology. They have no use for artists.
Cuba doesn't have a Banksy?
They do not have a Banksy. They actually, the regime censors or bans music that it deems subversive at all. So Gloria Estefan songs are censored. To be clear, there were times in Cuba where they came in if you had a saxophone and you were jailed. So people here who think they'd be living more free because of the redistribution can only take place if you work for the government, period, nonstop. It requires that you be a contributor. Here's something else that you see with Cuban American immigrants. And by the way, if you're Cuban, comment Cuban American here, comment below. And this is what we can use more of. Zero tolerance for American victimhood. I will say it borders on racist, but
it's not.
If you spent, they don't view Cuban blacks the same way, but American blacks here, they are intimidated 0%. When they hear people here complaining, imagine you couldn't afford a bar of soap, you couldn't afford a can of Spam. If you went out and protest, there's no Black Lives Matter Summer of Love protest. If you say I don't like the government, you disappear forever, and you come here. And this is what they'll hear someone going, man, I have to steal to survive. Hey, you have soap? You have a floor? What? You have soap or floor? If you steal for new sneakers, I can steal because I have no soap, no floor. You choose to be a piece of shit. That's your choice. They see people here, even in the worst case scenario. Doesn't matter if you're from East St. Louis, if you're from the worst area of Detroit, and they go, my God, you have no idea how good you have it. And they're not coming here to take advantage of America and send the money back. They're coming here to become American. Very different from a lot of other Latin Americans, Mexican Americans. You can even see it in the UFC event. Hey, I sorry I don't speak English, but I try. Right? Guys who fight from Ecuador, guys who fight from a lot of, they don't try and speak English.
Try at all, no.
And not all Cuban Americans speak English, but they certainly try. They want to be American. And this brings us to key fact number 2 here. Because you know this, I've talked about this with Gay William, whose mom, every Cuban I know, Cuban American, has like 3 or 4 jobs, every single one. So they have very strong family units. And in doing research here, found out that Cuban Americans often have a 3-generation family, and they don't put their elderly in nursing homes. They often live with them. 78% of Cuban Americans are Christian. And that means that they're living in proximity with the next generation. You often don't see this with people who fled other, let's say, totalitarian or communist regimes. They often don't educate the next generation. 1 or 2 generations removed, and they start becoming Democrats, or they start becoming socialists because they don't know. Cuban Americans are very loud, boisterous. They're also very hard-headed, where it doesn't matter if you go, well, actually, I think Bernie Sanders. You no say his name in my place. Socialists kill your father. We're not going to talk socialists. Get out. And they take the hinges off your door so you have no privacy. They're out of their mind. But they make sure, yes, they make sure they're bringing their kids in with Western values. It's a difference in gratitude versus entitlement. Yeah. It's a difference in gratitude for the opportunity, which, by the way, this is unique now. This would have been descriptive of all immigrants up until the middle of the 20th century. Now it really just describes Cuban Americans. Most people, they're not nearly as grateful as they used to be. All immigrants in the United States used to be if you were to ask German, Irish, Polish, Italian, Jewish migrants in the 1920s, 30s, 40s, hey, is this the greatest country in the world? Of course, absolutely. Every single one would answer yes, or they would have left and gone back because they didn't expect to come here, say that this country wasn't great, and stay. Cuban Americans want to be here. They don't want to take the money and send it back. They're seeking America, not to take advantage of America. When you talk about work ethic, the average salary in Cuba is about $2,000.
Jeez.
$16 a month. Do you have any idea, and this is why, again, spending a lot of time with these people, when you explain to them the concept of overtime, they come from a country where you work as long as the government tells you and you get what you get. I have a family member who actually, one of their family was a doctor in Cuba. Died in the fields on a farm. You farm now, said the government. When they flee that, boy, are they grateful to be able to make more if they work more. We have Americans here who bitch about work, who bitch. And these people go, wait a second. If I work more, I can make more? Well, then why wouldn't I work more? They typically work harder here in the United States than almost any other immigrant demographic. You literally have to make them go home. Hey!
What's that?
Hey, watch it! I'm trying to do my job! And the thing is, Pedro's not even mad. It's just the way he talks.
No, I was scared, though. I left.
Yeah, I get it.
We know.
They're very boisterous people. Compare them to other Hispanic groups. And again, you can check all of these references. Cuban Americans earn on average 11% more than any other Hispanic group in the United States. Cuban Americans have a far lower unemployment rate than not only other Hispanics, but the national average. Other Hispanic groups, their unemployment rate is 4.7. National average is 4.2. 3% for Cuban Americans.
Wow.
I'm not saying that we need to mass import Cuban Americans, but this is a group that we should study. In other words, if we're going to frame our immigration policy, we should wait, who are the people who are making more, who are contributing more, who are more employed? When compared to other Hispanic immigrant groups, Cuban Americans have less poverty, higher home ownership, more bachelor's degrees, and less crime. As a matter of fact, Little Havana has a lower crime rate than both Florida and the national average at large. So, and I just say this because they don't view themselves as the rest of Hispanics. They police their own. And by the way, they also don't do this kind of crap. Yeah. And
those are significant differences too. It's not just like barely enough, barely more.
Right.
Barely more homeowners, barely more unemployment rate.
It's a very stark,
huge
contrast. And the other thing is when they've sort of been inoculated because they were raised in communism, a lot of them, or their parents were, and they've been educated about the perils of communism. And so there's a little bit of inoculation that takes place against the Marxism here in the United States, like identity politics, the cultural Marxism. 86% of Cuban Americans identify as white, even though a lot of them aren't. And in 2006...
Most of them are darker than tan.
I know, they're darker than tan. 55% of Cuban Americans said that discrimination against Hispanics is not a major problem, meaning a majority. So fewer Cuban Americans said that anti-Hispanic prejudice was than any other Hispanic group profiled. Again, these are not small differences. And I will tell you this, they're very hard-headed, they're very loud, they're very boisterous because they just don't have time to listen to complaints if they view it as illegitimate. I've noticed that about them. If you're like, well, hey, go work hard. Things will work out for you. That's it. That's how they view it. They don't want to listen to your bitching. They view themselves as very, very different from any other Hispanic immigrants. And they're a very intense people where they want to sort of separate themselves. They sort of make everything their own. Just look at their dubbed version of beloved children's cartoons, the ones that they run.
Wise that little rodent. Here I am, wise guy. Come on out.
Hey, you. I'm trying to sleep. I work hard all day. We don't come to this country to be bothered by pussycats like you.
Okay, here, just try it.
I go kill your whole family, motherfucker.
They're intense.
They're not violent unless pushed towards it.
Oh, yeah. They are.
They are.
Then they are. They have no problem stepping in if they view someone as being wronged.
Yes.
And they don't just go, oh, Brown, if you were being punked by some people of color.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And there was a Cuban family and they knew that you were good people, they would, hey, what you do? You act like animal. And they would go after them. They don't, it's not like World Star. It's there's 4th of July in areas that have a lot of Cuban Americans. It's gaudy. It's just flags and fireworks and I've never seen a more proud group of people to be American. That doesn't mean that we mass import them because, hey, Cuba sucks as a country. But they will tell you, that's the big difference too.
Yeah.
People from Mexico will tell you, Mexico is good, America is good. They will say, Cuba's awful. It's where dreams go to die. America is great. I love. Right? They do not tell you, actually, Cuba, they'll say it's beautiful and it's been ruined.
Yeah.
It's a very different group of people because they appreciate it. Here's another key fact. Number 3. And this one really stands out to me. Cuban Americans they're fleeing communism, they're fleeing socialism. And this is why I say don't interrupt the left when they're making a mistake. They see, when they land here, only one party supporting socialism and communism. And here's the thing, for white people to argue this, white liberals, you have to argue that Cuban Americans are stupid. That's the only argument you can make. You have to argue they don't know, it's different. They don't know what they don't know what democratic socialism is. Maybe they do, and the people who lived it, maybe you don't. So they see one group, Democrats, liberals, supporting the root cause of the absolute horrors that they fled. And they go, who's that? I'm not with that guy. Here you go. Imagine you come here from communism and you see this.
And so now, after all these years, one thing is clear. The Cuban people have free, universal health care.
Thanks, Michael
They
Moore.
become known around the world as having not only one of the best healthcare systems, but as being one of the most generous countries in providing doctors and medical equipment to third world countries.
Didn't ask any
Talking,
Cubans.
of course, about the hip-hop mogul and his songbird wife, Jay-Z and Beyonce. So last week, the fun couple were trailed by paparazzi through the streets of Havana. The two were celebrating their 5th anniversary.
You may recall way back in, 1961, they invaded Cuba. And everybody was totally convinced that Castro was the worst guy in the world. All the Cuban people were going to rise up in rebellion against Fidel Castro. They had forgot that he educated their kids, gave them health care, totally transformed the society.
Right,
Hola,
yeah. They love it.
bienvenidos a Cuba. Hello. Yo soy... He's impressed. Yo soy Conan O'Brien.
Hey,
Lo siento,
get off my street!
That's all the Spanish I can really memorize.
Yeah, you got it. Hola. There you go.
There you go.
It was hollow.
Are these Cubans cheering for an American president?
Yeah,
not their own.
Hi, I hear rumor he's going to shoot Fidel. Take us back.
And they're just waiting, and he leaves.
He's gone now. He do nothing.
No.
Fuck you.
So I'm telling you, believe me, and please comment below if you have an experience with it. And I'm not saying that they're perfect. They can be obnoxious and loud and boisterous. Let me give you a more extensive list. Barack Obama visited Cuba in 2016, right? He canceled the wet foot, dry foot policy that allowed Cubans to flee the United States. And he did this before Cuba had really reformed anything. Ilhan Omar, Pramila Jayapal, in 2024, they went on a secret trip to Cuba, met with Cuban officials. I know you're saying those are just a few examples. Jane Fonda, Ted Turner, they visited Cuba as special guests of Fidel Castro in '91 and talked about how he wasn't all that bad. Michael Moore, right? He brought Americans to a Cuban hospital for a PR stunt in that movie, Sicko. Robert Redford traveled in 2004 to present the movie The Motorcycle Diaries to Che Guevara's family, a totalitarian dictator who would have committed genocide if he wasn't such a retard. Steven Spielberg was critical of U.S. sanctions on Cuba. You know who's not? Most Cuban Americans. He met with Fidel Castro for 8 hours in 2002 during a visit. Katy Perry went in 2015 and said this. She said, "It's Disneyland for creatives' minds." Yeah, till they jail you for playing the trumpet, you stupid bitch. Danny Glover visited the country a bunch of times, advocated for the release of 5 Cuban spies caught in the United States. And then Bob Dylan's first broad, Susie Rotolo, she met with Che Guevara in 1964, and I remember her saying, "What they're telling you is not actually accurate. You are fine to protest so long as you do it properly." And they don't mean non-violently. They mean you can't protest the government. And then the prick-in-chief himself, Tom Morello, rage against the machine while using Che Guevara as the mascot. This guy wrote a lengthy eulogy for Fidel Castro. So here's one thing. Most people don't know who Che Guevara is. You can go back to our great dictoff that we did on dictators throughout history. Che Guevara, if you're a Cuban and you come to the United States and you see a Che Guevara t-shirt, that's like a Jew coming to the United States post-World War II seeing Hitler on a shirt.
Fidel Castro's eulogy shouldn't have been longer than a...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not right. I help. All right. Oh, Fidel, so sorry. Fuck you.
They couldn't get a Cuban to write it.
Right. No, exactly. They couldn't get a Cuban to write it. And they go, no, Che Guevara, it wasn't implemented properly. It wasn't. And then but then they could remove themselves from Fidel Castro when we know what he's done. And they still have to praise Fidel Castro.
But what if they see this shirt? They're not going to think this is...
I designed that shirt when I was 14 years old because I had Cuban immigrant friends who educated me on Che Guevara. It is remarkable. Yeah, you can go get that at crowdershop.com. Yeah. And YouTube said we're not allowed to sell that shirt. Just imagine. Do you guys know Che Guevara, to give you an idea, not only was he racist, not only was he just as homophobic, not only was he anti-artist, to be clear, in '64 he told the UN General Assembly that executions, by the way, that were taking place without trial would completely continue unabated. He said, We must say here something that is well-known truth that we have always asserted before the whole world. Executions? Yes, we have executed people. We are executing people and shall continue to execute people as long as it is necessary. Well, guess how long it's necessary according to people like Che Guevara? As long as anyone protests what they were doing.
Right.
And so Cuban Americans get here. They flee that. They're grateful to be here, and they see a bunch of entitled pissants who aren't, who wear the face of the man who turned their country into a totalitarian hellhole.
Killed their relatives.
And then they become the most consistent conservative Republican voting bloc in this country, with higher incomes, higher levels of education, lower levels of poverty, lower levels of crime than their state or country at large. Now, the problem is, most people don't want to say this because we want to go, oh, everyone's saying, right, immigrants who want to come here. No, hold on a second. Are they not seeking a better life any more than Mexican Americans? Okay. Why do they make more? Why do they work more? Why do they have lower crime? Why can't we ask these? Oh, is it racist? Well, aren't both Hispanic? And by the way, this applies to black Cuban immigrants too. Plenty of those there, if you guys don't know. Cubans just don't really view them. They just view them as Cuban Americans. They have a problem with black Americans because they have a problem with Black Lives Matter. They have a problem with entitlement. They have zero tolerance for Antifa. They have zero tolerance for someone who's wearing a Che Guevara shirt. Not saying that any culture is perfect. What I am saying is that when people try and throw at you, oh, you must be racist because it's the color of their skin. No, they're not all the same. And Cuban Americans will tell you right away that they are not all the same. And in doing this, talking with people on the street that you will see in the coming weeks, next Monday, I believe, and then another installment the Monday after that, it's pretty clear to see Cuban American, Mexican American, who do you want in your country? Well, what do you mean your people?
My people is like Mexican. I'm Mexican. In 1963, my dad came here on a banana boat. Okay. My mom became an American citizen in 1988. My mom had
Cuban? She's Cuban too?
Yes.
Okay.
And growing up our whole lives in Los Angeles, California, surrounded by a lot of immigrants, surrounded by a lot of ethnicities, surrounded by a lot of culture, they still said it doesn't matter what that says. You're still 100% American. The country comes first.
Is America the greatest country in the world?
Yes and no.
That's the big difference when people talk about we're a nation of immigrants, and that's true. But the Italians, the Irish, the Poles, but all those people came to this country, and every single one would say, I came to the greatest country in the world and I'm grateful to be here. And if not, they went back and left. This is the first generation of people who come here and say, yeah, but it's not that great.
I mean, they understand what they've left and they understand what they're gaining.
Yeah.
And they're willing to put in the effort and the work into what they're gaining versus what they never had.
Yeah.
And I think that's really good. It's the only country that we know of that nobody wants to leave, but they want to talk as much crap as they want about it.
I know. What's your duty to this country?
I guess not broke the law, work hard. Maybe when we go bring me the papers, I'm going to try to help more.
Yeah, he guesses.
Maybe.
And they'll maybe if they give him the papers.
Oh, so it's
Cuban Americans? The answer is my parents said they owe this country everything.
Yeah.
Literally everything.
Maybe if they give me the papers.
Yeah.
How about I rip up your freaking papers?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, here's one paper. It's a Greyhound ticket.
That's exactly. I told him, if you don't think it's great, we don't want you here. What? Yeah, we don't want you here. Here's the other thing that I will say. He didn't view it as racist. He understood my point of view and it was respectful, but we don't want you here. That's where I am now. If you don't want to be here, we don't want you here. How do I know if you want to be here? You say this is the greatest country in the world. Otherwise, go to that country. Speaking of papers, I know that many of you out there are not. We're going to continue, of course, on Rumble Premium, but I know that many of you are not yet Rumble Premium members, and sometimes it's a little bit tough to do. And so it's time. Well, hold on, be ready. It's time for reverse super chat. So you've heard of super chat, where it's like you send in money. Mm-hmm. We don't do that here. You can either join or not, but we do reverse super chat, where we give you free stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. Right now, actually, this is brought to you by Pure Talk. What's the website? Oh, puretalk.com/Crowder. I do use them, by the way, and it's been better than Verizon service, and I actually can call someone, get them on the phone. 50 free Rumble Premium subscriptions were just gifted in the chat. Right, Gerald?
Yep. Thanks to Pure Talk Wireless. They did it. By the way, you get 50% off your first month. So go support those guys. We appreciate them doing that. And if you get this free one, if you give them a little bit more information, you can make it 2 months free of the Rumble Premium subscription. And let us know that you got it. We want to see the people thank Pure Talk and see what you think about what we do behind the scenes.
Yeah. Also, they have again, the big thing with Pure is 100% U.S.-based customer service team. You know that a lot of these they all use the same towers and stuff like that. But my service has been better, and I can call and get someone on the phone. I don't know why you would pay more. So thank you very much, Pure Talk. This has been Reverse Super Chat. And we're going to continue now to, if you haven't yet, click right there. We're going to take your chat and we're going to play, hate symbol or not. That's fun. $99 a year for those of you who didn't get it for free, or try it for $9.99 a month. Rumble Premium is Mug Club. Mug Club is Rumble Premium. None of the free content exists if not for your membership, and you get everything ad-free and 100% more show. You guys get it. I've already done the spiel. If you're not going to join now, then there is no convincing you. Let's go, Rumble Premium. Go quick, Applejack.
Just hit it.
Son of a bitch.